She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, are you in that place where you seem to be working paycheck to paycheck? Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. That show where status quo is not enough for your life. The status quo of success, keeping up with the Joneses. Come on now, why are we doing that? They're broke. They're broke. All you have to do is look at the numbers. But boy, they sure love living a facade now, don't they? But the main concern that I am bringing to you today is that there's a certain age group that I think is already suffering from debt, and I don't think that they should be. And I hope that today that maybe you would get online and get on your social media or even email or text some young people. You know, those born in between the 80s and the 90s or between 22 and 33 years old about right now. Those guys, they are suffering under something that they don't need to be, and they can learn how to not be in that place. Why? You know, here on the Dani Johnson Show, we're about success and redefining the definition of success. That I'd like to know who was the one that defined it to begin with. I'd like to find that person, and well, I'm not going to say what I'd like to do, but you could probably figure it out because there's so much lying about it. There's such a facade. So many people, just like the clients that you heard, you know, before that you heard last week on the show, you know, living it up, trying to keep up with the Joneses and just like wanting to die because of even being suicidal, because of all of the pressure from all of the debt and the pressure of living a lie and just wanting to be happy. And is happiness really bought by things? No. More things you have to manage, right? But check this out. We found this recent statistic, which I happen to like those. 4 in 10 millennials born between the 80s and 90s consider themselves overwhelmed by debt. And they're saying that this is their biggest financial concern. The biggest pressure they have in their lives is not school. It's not providing for their families. The biggest pressure they have on their lives is their debt. A recent Wells Fargo study showed that millennials between 22 and 33 found that 47% of them devote at least half of their income to their debt. And over half of the millennials report living paycheck to paycheck. Could you imagine? They're so young. So young. Wow. To already feel that, I think it's a crime. I really do. I think it's a crime. But listen, you don't need to hear me about it. What I want to see is the millennials have outrageous, rip-roaring success, much more than my generation has had. I want to see these millennials so on top of their game and doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing, and that's being overwhelmed and overcome by their debt. And I know it is possible because I have seen it already, and I've seen even the young people of today, meaning the teenagers, 18, 19, so I'm not going into debt. I'm not doing student loans. I'm not going in that direction. No, I'm not buying a car. And no, you cannot send me a credit card. I don't want one. I've watched this new revolution begin to rise up in our clients, and I'm so proud of these kids going, I see what my older brother and sister did. No, thank you. I see the pressure my parents have been under and all the complaints and the fighting about it. I don't want anything to do with it. So I know it is possible to succeed without living like that. I know personally too. So we're going over to the phones because we want to hear from you. If you're a millennial, we want to hear what your financial, if you feel like you're overwhelmed by debt and you're in that same exact position that these statistics have said. We've got Lisa Newhouse from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi. So what about you? You fit into this group of millennials?
Yeah. In 25, I have $40,000 in student loan debt, and it just feels like you can't get anywhere.
You know you could buy a house for $40,000 in certain parts of this country?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So you're basically saying you have a mortgage, but you have no house.
Right.
Wow. Okay, and these are student loans.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other debt?
I have about $3,000 in credit card debt.
Car?
No, my car is paid for.
Good job. Okay, grab your right hand, put it behind your back, over your head. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, I'm so proud of you that you didn't go into debt your car. And don't. I want you to drive that sucker till it dies.
Oh,
your car does not determine your value in the marketplace. And your car doesn't help you get a good date. Well, Okay? It doesn't. It's like so stupid, the things that we believe about stupid cars. Okay, so listen to me. So you have $43,000 worth of debt. 40,000 of it is your student loans.
Yep.
What degree did you get for $40,000?
It's educational media, so I'm a school teacher. So I don't even make that much a year.
But I think it's funny. It's educational media. It made it sound so sexy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's sexy. I like that. What are you? A teacher. That's marketing for you, right? It used to be 40 years ago, you're going to get a degree for being a teacher. It says I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher, not educational media. Okay, so you have an educational media degree. So what do you make as a school teacher, babe?
I make $33,000 a year.
Yep. $33,000. So you spent $40,000 to make $33,000 a year.
Yep.
What's your plan?
I'm building my own business.
Interesting.
I started a network marketing business, and we're going to take that to the top.
Awesome. Awesome. Those are good businesses. As long as you put in professional skill, you put in professional commitment, and you really build it like your job, not one of these fly-by-night suckers who think that they can sit and eat bonbons, well, forget it, Hot Pockets, play video games all day and say they're in business. But no, it's like, and they have to put forth the professional effort. All right, but on $33,000 a year, okay, and are you single?
No, I'm married.
You're married, okay. What does your husband make?
He makes about the same.
Okay.
About 33.
About 33. So $66,000 is the yearly household income.
Yep.
How many kids?
None yet.
None yet. And you have no mortgage?
We do have a mortgage. We have $145,000.
Honey, that means you have more debt than what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
You personally have how much total debt?
So that's about $200,000
that you have. Yeah. And then how much does your husband have a car that isn't paid for or credit cards?
He is debt free except for our house.
Okay, perfect. All right, so the household has just about $200,000 worth of debt. On $66,000 a year, honey, you guys can pay off that debt.
Yeah.
No, you can. What has to change is your attitude about your debt. That's the part that has to change. Have you ever heard of the book First Steps to Wealth?
Yeah, I actually have it. I think I'm on the first chapter. I just started.
Okay, you're an educational media person, teacher. It means that you know how to read. Mama, well, you're not a mama yet, but honey, my sweet sister, you need to burn through that book because there's 2 chapters in the book that are called War on Debt. And you got to get vigilant with this because, I know of somebody that was in debt for 60 years, and guess what it started with? Student loans. 60 years until his grandchildren paid off his debt. He was 80. 60 years in debt. How does that happen? First of all, you have to cut off the arm to debt. Go cut up those credit cards.
We cut up all our credit cards and we
Good.
closed the account. So.
Okay, you take that right hand, put it behind your head, reach down, bam, pat yourself on the back. And then when your husband comes, pat him on the back. So proud of you that you cut up the credit cards. When you're at JCPenney's and you're being tempted to buy something stupid and they say, would you like to save an additional 10%? Your answer is no.
No.
No, no. And you shouldn't have a credit card either. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so the next thing is that what I want you to do, okay, tell me how much are you paying for rent?
Our mortgage is about $1,100 a month.
$1,100 a month, okay. And then how much are you spending on food per month?
$300.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
What are you eating, child? Are you having filet mignon and lobster every night?
No, chicken and hamburger and frozen vegetables.
Honey, well, if it's $300 a month, you're not eating just chicken and frozen vegetables and hamburger. There's something, okay, wait, and are you including the $300 a month? Is that groceries or is that including eating out?
No, it's just groceries.
Oh, and how much is the food budget that we're eating out with?
We rarely eat out anymore because we decide we don't have the money for it.
Okay, well, first of all, eating out is not wise. That's the reality. It's not wise on every level that you can figure out. It's not wise, especially when you have debt. You have no business eating out. You've given up your right to eat out. Okay, but it's not wise. You pay far more money for junk. And it's not even healthy for you. But how much are you eating out? I'm talking about, AM, PM mini market with the hot dog and the big gulp. I'm talking about Starbucks with the caramel macchiato double shot with a venti. I don't even know what any of that means, but I've heard people say those things. I don't even know if I said it right. Okay, I'm talking about the snacks, at the gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go into the gas station. I pay at the pump, so I'm not tempted.
That's smart. I want to make sure your husband does the same thing. Okay, so how much...
Yeah, my husband's a problem. He goes in almost every day and gets a pop and a candy bar.
Ah, yeah. So how much is that pop and candy bar every day? It's $1 for a candy bar today, and it's $2 for the other. So that's $3 a day eating out.
Yeah.
$3 a day. All right, now I promise you, $300 a month on food is impossible. You need to get your budget down to $20 per person per week. That's $40 a week. What's 40 times 4 weeks in a month?
That's $160.
$160 a month is where your food bill should be. And you guys will be eating like kings on $20 per person per week. That's what I've done for my family. $400. I spend $100 a week. Less than $100 a week now because I have so many less kids in the house right now. But that was $100 a week for food. And I'm a gourmet cook. Tonight I'm making beef stroganoff. It's a Russian meal. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's slow cooking right now. I'm telling you, you wish you were having a dinner at my house. Last night I made tacos. I made carne asada tacos with leftover roast. We had a roast on Friday night for Shabbat, and then we have this meat. I chop up all the meat, serve it with onions and cilantro and organic tortillas. So good. Okay, anyway, $160 a month on food. So that gives you $140 a month to attack those credit cards with. Don't make minimum monthly payments. You'll pay till you're 95 or dead, whichever one comes first. Then your kids are going to pay off your debt. You don't want to do that. War on debt. There's so many strategies. I promise you, you get this in your blood, you're going to have so much, you're going to be empowered and feel so excited about attacking debt. And you'll start stealing back the money that's been stolen from you by the marketplace. And you'll start to just be vigilant and feel so empowered and so good about yourself instead of feeling so overwhelmed and so overburdened by this debt. You can't let this thing beat you. You can't let it win. Honey, it's time to rise up and do your future children a huge favor. And that is learn to live really frugal and become debt-free immediately. You can do this. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
Friend, you know me. You know how passionate I am about my faith and the land of Israel. I'm so excited to tell you about something directly from the Holy Land. A good friend in Israel has teamed up with a good friend here in the U.S. to bring an incredible product that harnesses the healing power of the Dead Sea. Have you heard about Mud Zero? Face it, we may not like to talk about it, but some of us need help with removing unwanted hair, especially in unwanted places. Mud Zero is a solution for all skin types for men and women. Rub the mask on your skin, let it sit for 5 minutes, wipe it off, and you have smooth skin without the irritation. Then follow it up with a Depi lotion daily to reduce hair growth by up to 50%. Best of all, you can feel good knowing that over 10% of the profits goes directly to King's Ransom to feed the orphan and the widow. Go right now to mudzero.com and take advantage of an introductory offer they've created just for us. mudzero.com. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower becomes the lender's slave. That's from the best success book ever written, and I hope you realize what side of the equation you're supposed to be on. You're not supposed to be on the poor side. You're supposed to be the lender, not the borrower. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Today we're talking about money and debt and millennials. Who are they? They're the kids that were born between the 80s and 90s. I had a whole boatload of kids in those years, 1987 to 1999. 5 of them. But there's something about their generation that is breaking my heart. They have not been taught how to manage money well. They largely are part of an entitled generation who is very angry about the debt in which they are carrying. They've not been taught about debt properly, how to use it. They're not taught how to live their life within frugal means, but instead they see what they want and they buy it. And unfortunately, many of them are carrying a huge amount of debt so young. We just finished hearing from a young lady that's 25 that has $200,000 worth of debt. Wow! $200,000 worth of debt at the age of 25. Married to a man that's around the same age, but look at that. This is so sad. This is not how it should be. I don't think that our kids should be enslaved, especially to those huge amounts so young. So if you were not taught, if you feel like you were not taught how to handle money, and if you feel that you are experiencing that financial pressure, we want to hear from you, and we want to help you solve these financial issues today. Going over to the phones, we've got Kamilah Clark from Newark, New Jersey. Kamilah, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Good. Honey, are you in debt?
I am in a lot of debt.
Really? How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 29.
You're so young. I'm old enough to be your mother.
But I want to get out of it, so that's why I called in today to get some help.
Okay, how much debt you got, baby?
I have $90,000 in student loans, and I have a car, which is $18,000.
Okay. Mortgage?
No.
Good job. Credit cards?
No credit cards.
I'm so proud of you! Oh my gosh, can I hug your neck? Come on, reach in. Come on, give it to me. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Okay, I'm squeezing you so hard, you're starting to sweat. I'm so proud of you that you do not have credit card debt. That is so awesome. But I want you to take off your belt and spank your butt for the car loan.
I know. I will, as soon as I get off this call.
Serious. Yeah, it makes me so mad how we entice people, this country and other countries around the world, entice young people as well as old people with leases where we never own the item. And not to mention it's a depreciating liability. It's never worth what we paid for. It's always depreciating every single year. And to have a fixed interest rate on that depreciating liability means you're paying more and more every single year for the car that has less and less value. Which stinks, right? If you had to do it all over again, what would you have bought instead of what you bought? Like, if you had to do it all over again, would you have bought that car that you now owe $18,000?
I did not have what I was actually because the car I bought was a used car, but it was a used car from with a higher interest rate. So I would have went and bought something that would have got me from A to B that was more like $5,000 or something like that.
Would you still have gone into debt for the $5,000, or what would you have done?
No, I would have been able to pay it outright. It would have been paid already.
So tell me, baby, tell me right now, why did you not just pay cash? You had $5,000. Why didn't you just pay cash for a used car?
I think I was just enticed by this particular dealer and this particular car, and that was the reason why I went. I was, guess, in a sense, kind of trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yep. So did you just tell me that you made an ego purchase?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. You see, in life, if we want to be successful, we have to weigh our ego with our bank account and figure out which one we want to grow more. And ego will always keep us broke. When we look at our purchases, we have to discern, is this to build up my ego or is this wise? Is this next blouse, do I even need another blouse? No. You know, I find this interesting too. You know, so many people are like, well, Dani, I don't have any clothes that fit. Then lose weight. Lose weight. You have a whole new wardrobe right before your eyes if you lose weight. And how do we end up needing to buy new clothes? Because we ate out too much, or we ate too much. We had too much junk food, too many sodas, too many Starbucks, too much. And we sat around and played too many video games or watched too many movies, or we had too much alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Or we had too much milk. We had more of an excess than what we could actually afford, which then caused our waistline to expand. And once we make our waistline expand, now I can't button my pants. Great. Fast today. Today is the day to fast. And not only that, but if you train yourself to eat all the food that's in your food, your pantry, you know, your not only the pantry, but everywhere else, you know, the freezer, the refrigerator. When we do that, well, guess what we have? We now will not eat as much because those stale potato chips aren't as good. So we want to eat the whole bag. Right? So if I want you to start here, okay, you have $100,000 worth of debt. In fact, just stick with me. I'm going to give you a couple more tips when we continue right after this break. If you're listening, pay attention because you got to pay off that debt.
It's the Dani Johnson Show.
I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, my kid graduated from college, but now he's living in my basement. What do I do? Yeah, that's a question for you. Come on, it's so sad. Millennials are suffering under a crazy amount of debt at such a young age. Is it how it should be? Not only that, but it's adding more pressure both to mom and dad and the kid. In this case, where so many of these college graduates that are living in mom and dad's basement still supping off of the household income instead of being able to provide for themselves. It's a travesty. It is. The kid doesn't feel good about it. Mom and dad don't feel good about it, but all in all, mom and dad help that to happen. Joining me right now is Kamilah from New Jersey. She just finished telling us that she has, $90,000 in student loans and $18,000 in her car loan. And she quickly just said, I should have never bought that car. It was an ego purchase and it wasn't wise. So now, Kamilah, you've had $118,000 worth of debt, all right? You spent $90,000 on your education. What do you have a degree in, honey?
I have a degree in psychology.
In psychology? Are you practicing?
No, I'm actually an office manager.
What?
At a Jewish synagogue.
You're an office manager of a Jewish synagogue. Well, first of all,
yes.
Bless those people every day and God will bless you. That's biblical. Who you bless? If you bless a Jew, God will bless you. Double times the blessing upon you every time you bless a Jew. Okay, so a secretary. Why aren't you pursuing psychology, honey? You spent $90,000.
The degree, I have a bachelor's, and I was told that now I have to get a master's in order for me to even practice. So that's another $50,000 to $100,000 in debt I would have to go into unless I got a scholarship to go back to school to get my master's.
Honey, this makes me mad. So $90,000 didn't even get you the full degree.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. This is lame. So you're saying that in order for you to get the full degree, it's going to cost how much?
At least another $150,000 for me to get a master's.
Have you done some research to see if there's a cheaper way to go around this?
No, I haven't.
I don't even want to ask you what school you're talking to me about. I don't even want to know because then I'm going to have to forgive somebody. Oh my gosh. Okay. So $90,000 got your bachelor's in psychology.
Yes.
And in order for you to be a psychologist, you're going to have to spend $250,000 total for that degree.
Correct.
So what have you decided to do, babe?
So at this point, of course I'm working. I didn't want to do that forever. So as a part-time business, I've opened up my own business where I create wedding invitations,
Awesome.
handmade wedding invitations.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's awesome that you found another source of income. So you got two sources of income. You're a secretary at a Jewish synagogue, and then you are, and then you've started your own business of creating cards for people. And I think that's awesome. But what is your plan for school?
Eventually I have to go back because it's like, then I feel like I wasted $90,000. I kind of feel like I need to go back to get a master's.
Okay, but hold on a second. Hold on a second. So you really want to go $250,000 worth of, you want to go into $250,000 worth of debt, which is a house with no mortgage. I mean, a mortgage, no house. Okay, honey, here's what I want you to do. First of all, I'm so very proud of you that you've taken a pause. And you're like, I don't know that I want to spend $250,000 to finish out my degree. Now, why didn't they tell you that in the beginning?
Because I think that their thing was they wanted money. You know, colleges are now more so businesses. They don't really help you in that situation.
Yep.
So I didn't find that out until I was actually a junior in college, and I was like, at this point, I have to graduate. So I invested money, so I had to finish it out.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's what I think that you need to explore. Number one, don't just listen to this one college that has told you this. Number two, find out if there is a cheaper way to get the job done. Number three, what I want you to do is I want you to see what else could the current degree that cost you $90,000 be used for? What other things can you get involved in that can help you pursue this profession? Because what's the reason why you wanted to get a psychology degree?
Because I wanted to eventually open my own practice and deal with children who were grieving or going through any other life issues. Okay. Similar to what I'm going through, so they don't have to do it alone. Because my issue was I did everything alone, and I didn't have that support to say, don't do this.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was my big reason for going into psychology, so that I could become a counselor.
But you certainly didn't want to spend $250,000 to eventually get to the one kid that you could help.
Right.
Right? Okay. Listen to me carefully. There are lots of places that what you already have as a degree will help you to activate that gifting and desire that you already have. Does it mean that you'll be a psychologist? No, but you'll be able to use the training that you've already had and activate already being involved with kids' lives. There's so, especially in New Jersey and New York, Mama, there's so much. There's so many people that need help. Why in the world are we going to have you wait 10 years before you get to that first kid that you can help mentor, that first kid that you could start speaking into their lives and that you could help walking them through some healing and some restoration? Do you understand? There's all kinds of places, whether it is volunteering at a church, or it's volunteering in even in recovery homes, it's volunteering in shelters because there's kids in shelters. Do you know what I mean? Or the homeless families that are out there that are right there in New Jersey, right? Newark, New Jersey. Hello, you're in the heartbeat of all of it, where there's lots of kids who've gone through what you've gone through. I would begin to look for other options where actually your psychology degree, your bachelor's in psychology, already will help you to be involved in that industry. You don't have to have a practice to make a difference. I don't have a degree in psychology, yet I've helped hundreds of thousands move through the things of their past and deep, deep hurts and bring inner healing into their lives, as well as restoration to their lives financially and relationally. I don't have a degree at all. I've never been trained in that way. It has been, I teach what I've learned through life. You have some life experiences and you have some training. These two things can begin to help you. So I want you to look at, write this down. It's so important. It's something that I learned about 19 years ago. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Wow.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. So I want you to begin to have an open mind of other ways and options that you can do what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, what you described to me did not mean psychologist in some stuffy office.
Right.
Right? Writing out prescription drugs to help calm a kid down.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? That's not who you want to be talking to. And that's not the environment you want to be in. Especially, wait a second, let's add the pressure of $250,000 just to get the degree to start your practice. Oh, wait, now you have to get the building. You have to rent a facility, right?
Right.
Now you got to buy all these clothes that make you look like a psychologist. Blech.
That's very true. I didn't even think about that.
Yep. So I want you to write down, what do I really want to do? And what are other ways that I can actually do the very thing that I've been born to do? I believe you're not going to have to spend the extra $150,000. That's what I believe.
Awesome.
And I believe the time is now. I believe the time is now. All right. Do you have First Steps to Wealth, baby?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know those 2 chapters. Now, here's what happens on War on Debt. Here's what happens. Kamilah, listen to me. Is that we look at the $108,000 worth of debt, and we get overwhelmed. We say, forget it. It's too hard. It's too much. I just can't do it. I'm going to wait till I make a lot of money. Once I make a lot of money, then I'll pay off my debt. Wrong way to do it. You have to attack now. You have to attack now. So between that business that you have of creating those cards for weddings and things of that nature, and the work that you're doing at the Jewish synagogue, there is a certain amount of money that you're making, albeit it is not as much as you want to, but it's with something. And there's a law in the financial world, and the law is this: he who is faithful with little will be made ruler over much, much more. That's how you get promoted, is by being faithful with the little. So read those 2 chapters on War on Debt immediately and start using those strategies on how to get really, really faithful with the little that you have, and how you can begin to attack what has been holding your head under water, and that is your debt. You're going to say goodbye to the suffering of debt, because every time you use the strategy that's inside of the book, First Steps to Wealth, you're feeling empowered, life is being put in you, you are being strengthened, and you're cutting off the hand that's been holding you underwater, trying to drown you and drown your dreams. Your dream is to work with kids. Your dream is to help kids. Your dream is to be a light to kids, to inspire kids, to strengthen kids. That could have been choked out because of this debt. Well, it will not from this day forward. I can't wait to hear from you, girl. I'm excited. You got a bright future ahead of you. That's so awesome. All right. God bless you. Thanks for calling in. Okay, look at that. Man, the kid's going into college, right? And nobody is telling them the full cost that it's going to cost them. They get going on the path, and what happens? Oh, you need to spend another $150,000. It's a travesty. It's wrong. False advertising. Sick. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Dani will be back with more expert business, money, and relationship advice to help you live the uncommon life. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
You have to take control and take responsibility. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking about your financial future today. We're talking about the Millennials, this young group of people, millions of them all over the planet, who are suffering under a crazy amount of debt. Many of them 6 figures in debt by the time they're 25, 26, 27, 28. Some of them are graduating from college at 23 with 6 figures in debt. It's not how it should be. There is another way. There's another solution to succeeding. And debt is not always the answer. In fact, most of the time, it is not the answer. It's a habit that we get ourselves into. That even once we're making a lot of money, if we have the habit, the muscle of debt inside of us, the muscle of producing debt, in us, then that's a habit that just keeps producing no matter how much money we make. So here today on the Dani Johnson Show, we're analyzing the money of the millennials and helping to come up with solutions so that they can get out of debt and get on to what their life is supposed to be, their purpose, their destiny, the calling in which that is calling out of them that does not say, have some more pressure. Gosh. It's no small wonder why so many of them are suicidal. So joining me right now, Dani Johnson from Lake Peterson, South Dakota. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thank you. Hi, Dani.
Hi. So you're in debt.
I am.
How much, baby?
Probably about 150,000.
150,000. How old are you?
24.
Wow. And what is this $150,000 worth of debt from?
I do about 75,000 of that is a mortgage.
Okay.
And then a lot of it is just unsecured debt, and I do have a car loan.
For how much?
My car loan is about 10,000 now.
Okay. How much did you pay for the car?
I paid 12, and I had it almost paid off, and then I refinanced so I could consolidate some debt.
Caitlin, was that wise?
That was naughty.
And so you're saying unsecured debt. Can you kind of explain what's that unsecured debt of 150? I mean, of 50? No. You have 150,000, 75. Half of it is, so you have 75,000 in unsecured debt. 10,000 is your car. What else, babe?
I had my daughter when I was very young, and her father was overseas at the time. And a lot of it came after that. I only have $4,000 in student loans. But I think I just tried to put a face like, I'll be a good mom because I can afford all these expensive clothes and toys. I moved up a lot in my career. I make really good money for my age. But it's really caught up with me. I have more store cards than I have fingers. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Caitlin, where did you get this idea? This is profound to me. Where did this idea come from that a good mom is defined by what her daughter wears and the toys that she has?
That is a really good question. Because now I don't care. I shop at consignment stores now. I'm really trying to pay it off.
But look what the key word is, what you said, I shop. That's the thing that has to change. Why are you shopping?
Well, they grow.
They don't grow that fast. Okay, now listen. Where did the idea come from? Let's dive into this because you're not the only one. You're the first person I've ever heard say that though, but I know it's true. I think that's common out there. So come on, let's look at this. So I'm defined. What determines that I'm a good mother is if my daughter has expensive clothes and expensive toys. Where did that come from? Who put that idea in your head?
I guess society. I was really young, and I was unwed. I still am, and I have 2 kids. But I think it's just it all came from society and what they thought of me. I continually tried to impress people, just by what my daughter wore and what she ate and even what daycare she went to and things like that. And now I realize that it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, but that's what drove a lot of my debt.
Wow. So tell me, while you were incurring all of this debt so that people would look at you, that you were a good mom because your daughter was wearing expensive clothes, going to an expensive daycare, and had expensive toys and ate expensive food, did you really feel like a good mom with $150,000 in debt?
No. No, I don't.
What does it make you feel like to carry that debt?
It's hard. Especially since I'm the only one.
Yeah. Which means you don't have anyone to blame, huh?
No, I don't.
That sucks.
I know.
It does. That sucks. Now, again, that's what we talk about. Those are ego purchases. 98% of the population, listen carefully, Caitlin, 98% of the population will end up dead or dead broke by the age of 65. 65 to you seems like so far away. You're like, I'll never be that person. But you know, it starts. The decisions that we make from 18 to 25 really set us up for what we'll have to work to pay off for the rest of our lives.
Right.
At 65, dead or dead broke, dependent on family, friends, or a government for the main source of income. You don't want that to be you. And you don't want to suffer with debt for the rest of your life. So here's one thing you're going to do right now. Grab your wallet.
Okay.
Grab some scissors. Grab your wallet.
Okay.
Grab some scissors. And I want you to cut up every single credit card. Your debit card is all you need. You don't need a credit card. And I know right now you're thinking, but Dani, what if something bad happens? You don't need credit. Your life and your trust is not in plastic. It's not in plastic. So begin to cut it up. And here's why. You said you make good money. You're 24, you make really good money. Your mortgage is only $75,000, which also tells me $75,000 mortgage in South Dakota means you got probably more of a house than you needed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't even live there.
You don't even live there.
No. I pay rent as well.
Oh my gosh. And is there somebody renting from you?
Yes, there is, but it just barely covers the mortgage.
Wow. Wow. Okay, baby. You're not going to continue in this way. Cut up the cards. You need your debit card. Your debit card has a Visa or MasterCard sign on it, which means you have no problem renting a car if you ever needed to. You'll be fine. You're going to start living on cash alone, and you're going to start budgeting, and you're going to start being wise so that you can teach your 2 young children to be wise. You're going to get a hold of First Steps to Wealth and Grooming the Next Generation for Success. These are 2 really important reads for you as a mother to make sure we don't continue this cycle of your daughter. And do you have a son?
Yeah, I have a 6-month-old as well.
Okay, so that your son and daughter don't carry into their life and into their children the same false pretense that society is spoon-feeding them. You'll be one that's going to spoon-feed your kids wisdom. And fortunately, they're so young, they're going to be able to see the right example. You're so young that you will be able to correct this, okay? First Steps to Wealth, Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel. For families in Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, life is filled with fear and struggle. They don't have enough food for their kids, clean water is hard to find, and they're living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel on top of mining tunnels that could explode and sink at any moment. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming this village. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha to see how you can help. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org, and click on Santa Pancha.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
It is so important that you and I meet every day. And why? Because for the same exact reason, this is precious young Caitlin, single mother of 2, who got sucked into what society says. And society said that in order to look successful, you go into debt. And to be a good mom, you go into debt to buy expensive clothes, expensive daycare, expensive food, expensive shoes, and drive an expensive car, and live in a house that's above your means in order to look like a good mother. That's why you and I got to meet every day, because that's not success. You see, that's the facade of success. And every day we tackle that facade and we expose the truth so that you can be free and become financially free. As I believe if Caitlin does exactly what I told her to do, cut up the store department cards, cut up the credit cards, kill off the debt, get a hold of First Steps to Wealth and Grooming the Next Generation for Success, which First Steps to Wealth, you can get a free copy of that right now. If you call 866-760-8255, again, 866-760-8255, you can get a free copy. You pay the shipping to get it to your house. I'll put in the $15 book for you. And that has 2 chapters on debt and how to look at money, as well as how to increase your income at your current place of employment or your current business. But Grooming the Next Generation for Success is making sure that you are going to train up your kids to be financially independent instead of financially dependent. Train up your kids to not have to fit in with the Joneses kids who are the Joneses are broke and the kids are brats, but instead to be a light on a hill, to be a different breed, a different kind of a person. Next thing I want to tell you is that you also want to learn how to help people who are really in need. Right now, there's a group of us, a pretty large group of us, that have all pulled together funds and our work and have devoted a certain part of our work into helping those who cannot help themselves. I have a single mom, for example, Caitlin, I know you're still living. She has 4 children, 2 who are twins, 9-month-old. She can't feed them. She can't feed them. She makes $2 a day. She lives not in even a shack. You can't even call this thing a dwelling. And so a group of us have all pulled together. It only costs $5,200 to provide a brand new home as well as food that she's going to learn how to grow and produce and sell all on her own for the rest of her life. Her and her children will not suffer because she's going to get education. She's going to get food that will reproduce itself, as well as a home and clean water, shelter, and a future. Only costs $5,200 to help a single mom like that. And we can do it by what? Let's not go to Starbucks for a week. Send all of that money, $25, to help Audalis and her 4 children and the many others just like her. There's 1,000 families in the same exact situation. If you want to know more, you can go to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org, or you can call 888-291-7123. Again, that's 888-291-7123. There's 1,000 families just like Audalis that need your help right now. And when you and your kids come together to take care of the poor, your kids no longer are part of this greedy culture that we all live in that is ruining them and turning them into debt-aholics and I need and I want. But instead, we're going to raise up true leadership as we lead by example of taking care of the poor. This is Dani Johnson. Thank you so much for joining me today. I pray that this was helpful and beneficial to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This has been the Dani Johnson Show. If you want to hear more, visit us at DaniJohnson.com. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.